Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. And on this week's show, we're going to be previewing the best of the action from Cheltenham and at Doncaster, all of Doncaster's races live on Sky Sports Racing. Being rejoined in the studio by both of the lads, Declan Rix and Sam Boswell. Sam, got to start with you though. Of course, massive congratulations. You were married this day last week. How's married life?
We survived a week, Trina and me, so it's going well, Kate. We had a wonderful day. My best man Mike's a massive viewer of the show and he did a fantastic job, so shout out to him. Yes, more importantly though, Dex survived the HR case for his Christmas party, I understand, last week. Deck, and you're still here.
Well, we had our own HR case just a few moments ago when Katie Tracey was complimenting on your shiny ring, but you know, we won't go there. I survived.
I stand by it.
I survived the ATR Christmas party last week. Didn't make it to Popper like you. And Katie Tracey, belated birthday wishes to you.
Happy birthday.
So we've all survived recent parties by the
A lot has happened in a week, hasn't it? Yeah, Sam's got married, I've got older, and you've survived another year in a job.
Just about, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. We've all achieved in this time. Hopefully we can achieve by finding some winners though.
Yes.
Of course, loads of good action to go at, haven't we, this weekend? But of course, before we get into the action proper, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, on with the action proper. Now we're going to kickstart at Cheltenham with the 150. This is the December Gold Cup handicap chase, a Premier handicap, 4-year-olds and over. 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs. So another fascinating one of these contests. 11-2, co-favourites of 3 in here. So how are you playing it?
Yeah, look, I think there's plenty of pace on here early. The first couple of fences, as ever, on this course and distance and around this distance at Cheltenham are going to be very important. Going to need to get into an early rhythm. You're going to need a little bit of class, have a little bit of boot early, just to hold your posse and get a nice position. And I'm with Il Ridotto. I'm hoping he can go back to back with the 2 big major handicaps at Cheltenham. Now, look, it is going to be tougher for him. He is £8 higher in the ratings, and I think he's going to carry £13 more in terms of physical weight. But lads, he won idling his brains out the last day. You know, the race was over after 3 out, to be fair to him, and he absolutely bolted up. He's a bit of a nightmare, I think, for a handicapper to get to grips with, because he's just so idle. Now, this was his comeback run at the start of the season at Chepstow when he was well behind Gallo and Grandeur Dam. But I thought it was a brilliant training performance by Paul Nicholls to get him to win the Paddy Power. Great bit of target training, and I'm hoping he can go on again. It's going to be tougher, more weight, more physical weight, and maybe a slightly better race as well. But he's got a touch of class, and he just won so well. And now Freddie Gingell takes another £3 off his back. So let's go, Il Ridotto.
Il Ridotto, he's 7-1, and it was really tricky to weigh up exactly which way this market was going to go between Garlaw and Il Ridotto, who we were just seeing in the same clip there. Garlaw finishing in front of him, both beaten by Grandeur Dam, who's a bigger price again at 8-1. So the fact that these 3 horses who finished 1, 2, 3 at Chepstow reoppose here, but in all different orders, is fascinating to see, which is why I'm so glad we looked at that clip, because I'm guessing we ran very similar trends on this race, and I came up with the 2 horses there who are 6 and 7-1, Garlaw and Il Ridotto, both of them ticking the same amount of trend boxes. However, the one who I've sided with is Garlaw, though. I'm pretty certain I sided with him last time out as well, so of course finishing second to Il Ridotto.
Who trains Garlaw?
I know, I will say it before Sam Boswell gets a chance to. BetVictor ambassador Jamie Snowden, of course. Now, Garlaw, he's such a wonderful horse, and the way that he just edges for trends is the fact that horses who actually won the November version of this contest, the Paddy Power Gold Cup, they don't have the fantastic record of being able to back it up to go 2 wins out of 2. It's normally the horses that are in behind those winners that come to the fore. Of course, him finishing second. Now, he is also a bit of an anomaly. The only trends box he didn't tick was the rating. Of course, he's going to have to win this off a very lofty mark, not top weight, but second in, though. However, you look at in the last 6 years, now your ideal bandwidth was 132 to 134 or 141 to 143. Now, he is running off of a mark of 156. However, the 2 anomalies in those last 6 years have been lofty rated types. So I'm hoping he's going to be another one of those slight anomalies, put the class then to this race, will be ridden prominently. You want that. For all that in this race last year, when I was absolutely mugged off by Fugitive, didn't come to the fore. But generally speaking, you want a prominent racer, want an 8-year-old. He is ideal for that.
Well, I think Sam and I probably really hope he doesn't win. Because we were with him
Yes.
heavily in the Paddy Power. So.
We were, the
all
three of us.
were. That
Yeah.
was it,
all three of us were. So
All
you're
three
keeping
of
the
us.
faith.
And that's it. So our strike rate wasn't bolstered, but he gave us a great run. So I'm keeping the faith. Sam, are you?
No, Kate, I'm looking elsewhere. I'd love to see Garlaw run a big race, and I think it'd be in the 3, but I just felt from a win perspective, wasn't keen. El Redoto gets an El No-No from me, Decky. I'm sorry. 2006, got to go back for the last back-to-back winners.
Exotic
of those.
Dancer, was
Yeah,
it?
correct. Been reading the same stats as me. I'm just not sure. He's a nice horse, just not sure if he's that good. I think it's a huge achievement. Stage star for me, just feel off that weight. I don't want to be playing at 11-2. So I came down to the front pair in the market, and Fugitive for me was an eye catcher in the paddock before this. Before the Paddy Power Gold Cup, I should say. Definitely looks like he's strip fitter from it. He's a big horse. He's a really nice type. Obviously won this race 12 months ago. And the only sort of thing when I was going through the profile I was slightly concerned about is this drying ground. I wouldn't mind seeing a shower or two hit Cheltenham. I just think he'd be better if it was easier towards softer side. But his record second time out is pretty strong as well. Tends to enjoy that first run of the season to bring him on. I really, really think he's probably, for me, the one that I think should be clear favourite. I understand the Skelton horse co-favourite of 3 there as well. I think definitely can expect a bit more from Adatta. But for me, Fugitive was the one I wanted to side with. Sean Bowen, a massive positive as well, takes the ride. A lot to like. Just probably want the ground a little bit softer if I was going to be playing any shorter.
Interesting you keep mentioning the ground, because I think it was 6.6 on the going stick the day Il Redoto won the Paddy Power, and on Thursday yesterday it was 6.1. So, and they're going to be dry Thursday, they're going to be dry today and dry Saturday, so it could be very similar good ground.
So, like I say, very similar ground then if it's going to go the way that the weather forecast is expecting. With Fugitive then for Sam to win back-to-back renewals of this contest. Deck, just as a reminder.
Il Redoto for me,
Brandon
please.
Garlaw then for me. I'm the only one who's keeping At least we've had 3 different selections in what is a wide open contest. Really, really looking forward to that one. Do let us know in the comments section below who you fancy. Right, we're going to move on to the 225 at Cheltenham. Another handicap chase, this time over 2 miles though, 4-year-olds and over. Liberty Hunter is just shading favouritism here at 5-2, Sam.
Yeah, I did not like this race.
No.
The shape.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible.
Cheers, producer Ben, thank you.
It felt a bit of a hospital pass of a race to try and dissect, and looking through it, I kind of ended up not being able to move from the favourite. For All makes a reappearance here, and I never really like to back one first time out when we get to this time of year. But, you know, this horse, Liberty Hunter, great to see Harry Cobden retains the partnership. Obviously, maybe there's a bit more to jockey bookings with the David Power Cup now in play. Like, I do think the jockeys were always obviously chasing championships like Harry, but I do think he's obviously going to have an added incentive to try and make sure he's on the right horses. And I thought this horse, the Unexpected Party form, I thought was very good, relatively unexposed. And you've got the second favourite here coming off the back of the Fool just 7 days ago. That would be a massive concern for me personally. I don't tend to like to back horses off the back of a Fool. Others in there were a few that are kind of, I went through and like, yeah, I quite like Third Time Lucky, but I think he's got a bit to find still. And
he's going to puke when he sees that hill, won't he?
Yeah, it was one of those where I kind of by default came back to Liberty Hunter, but by no means would this be a strong betting heat for me. I'll have a token bet on Liberty Hunter and hope that he can do the job. But I thought it was the most interesting runner of the bunch in there, and probably that's why he's the 5-2 favourite.
Yeah, there's question marks just everywhere throughout this race. So I think Sam summed it up perfectly, Deck.
He has, yeah. I love the way we've all chucked the producer under the bus, kind of live on the show and not in the comments beforehand.
I'll edit this out. I did it a few times.
Yeah, look, I'm wondering, will Liberty Hunter run? Because it's going to be good ground, isn't it? Like all his best form is definitely on soft and heavy ground. So I hope he runs, because he makes the market for my fancy Master Chewy. But he, like Sam says, comes here with question marks as well. Now, he did fall in the Tingle Creek. That's the 3rd time he's fallen in his career, and the 2nd time over fences. He was running a big race in the Arca last year, and he came down 2 out. But he jumped the fence fine. He kind of crumpled on landing. In the Tingle Creek, while it was hard to see from the video replays that we only had one angle, it just looked like he stood off miles outside outside the wings. He got up quickly, which was good, and Sam Twiston-Davies managed to get him quickly, so the positives there. And to be fair to him, after he fell in the Arkle last season, he went to Aintree and he jumped well. So I'm hoping mentally he's a strong character and he can put it all together. Now, this was his seasonal debut at Ascot at the start of the season behind good El Mortador, who's gone on to boost the form since. The horse in second there, Iser Dere, let the form down at Newbury on his next run. And, you know, it's just that kind of race. Third time lucky, he was beaten an awful long way the last time out. Triple Trade always looks like a horse who wants 2.5, especially on nice ground. And Etalon would be very interesting on profile of last season, but even he's not been in great order this year. And I just come back to it. Master Chewy is the class act of the race. Now, look, it's going to be tough off 12 stone and I think 156. But he showed he had strong mental fortitude after his fall at Cheltenham last year. He is the undoubted class act here. So I'm just hoping Sammy Twiston-Davies can pop Bill Master Chewy around and bolt up.
And get him his confidence back.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a quick turnaround. I do like that half of both of your previews were giving the reasons why they might not win before bring it back around.
Yeah,
again.
well, sometimes you've just got to break down a race like that and just kind of get the horses that you either think are kind of don't offer value in betting or you think will struggle.
Yeah, and you've got to be a realist as well, haven't you?
We do.
And I'm slightly frustrated about the price of my horse now, 13-2, about Triple Trade. And not to give anything away for our best bets part of the show, this is going to be embarrassing. I was expecting about 9-1 for Triple Trade. But Triple Trade for me, because of everything we've just spoken about, all the question marks in this race where Liberty Hunter should have every chance, but making his reappearance after a lengthy time off. Massachusetts jumping issues continue to surface. Same with Iser Dere last time out, didn't jump with fluency. I don't know what to expect from third time lucky to chance him at his current price, nor do I really think that Etalon is coming here in much form after he finished last and tailed off last time out. So I was left with who was the outsider of the field. Now we're watching him get a bit of a gimme here. This is good old Harper's Brook doing a Harper's Brook on himself there and pulling himself up at Ascot in December last year. Now that was Triple Trade's last success. That was off a mark of 135. He's running off a 130 here. So £5 below that. For all that, I think that obviously we've just seen it there in vision. It was a bit of a gimme of a win. But all the same though, you know he's well handicapped. And his win prior to that, 2 starts prior to the Ascot success, came at Cheltenham off a mark of 130. Same mark he's running off of here. He really likes Cheltenham. He loves this time of year as well, clearly. And he is well treated to bounce back to form from what he's been showing.
We should mention it as well. We're switching to the new course as well at Cheltenham this weekend. I think the new course will definitely suit him better than the old course.
Bit of an extra test. Bit of an extra test is definitely what he wants. But in a race full of questions, when he was the outsider of the field, I mean, he's been clipped in now to 30.
He may drift, Kate. Maybe he'll drift back out.
Oh, you know? After I've given him the cakes.
Katie Tracey's birthday money's been on early.
Oh, honestly, that's going to be very embarrassing later on. But anyway, Triple Trade though for me in this one. Sam, you're with Liberty Hunter.
A tentative play on the badly spelt Liberty Hunter.
I mean, fascinating race though, Deck, all the same, isn't
Absolutely. I'm with Master Chewy, who I'm hoping is none the worse for his fall last time out.
Hopefully so. Then on the quick turnaround then for you. Again, do let us know who you fancy for that really tricky, trappy little contest. Right, we're sticking at Cheltenham for the next. For 3 o'clock now, the Grade 2 Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. 4-year-olds and over 3 miles. Now, Skyjack Hijack has won his last 6 starts. He heads to betting 2-1 bet. Deck, who do you fancy for this Grade 2?
Yeah, again, another trappy race here. I think I want to take on the favourite Skyjack Hijack, not because I don't like him, but I think this is an afterthought. If you go back and read all the comments after his Newcastle win there on Fighting 50, Connection said, you know, we're going to wait till February now. He's going to go for a break. He's won 6 on the bounce. Even Sean Quinlan, who rode him that day, just felt, he said, even though he won very well, he wasn't fully on song. So, you know, and I think Connection said they entered him at the start of the week expecting to see a couple of really nice Irish horses in there. None of those have been declared. I'm not sure many were even entered. So they're kind of, as John Gosling would say, they're rolling the big dice. And, you know, good luck to them. We're always moaning about trainers and owners not running horses. They're having a go. And I'm sure he's in good health if he's running. But I just want to take him on. Clondalk General I want to take on as well. He is quite raw. And, you know, he did win on heavy ground at Worcester. And I just think going in a race where Skyjack Hijack could make this a bit of a test, you know, he could really struggle on this better ground. And I came down on Western Night for the Tizard team. A likeable horse. I like him. He's really raw, but I just get the feeling that there's a really nice horse in there. And this is the day he won at Ascot. Now, this is a race that the Tizzards have actually won at Ascot before with Scarface. And if you go further back, they won it with a lovely horse called Elegant Escape. And you can just see him there. His head is a little bit high. You can see why he wears that sheepskin noseband. But he is game, and he was game at Uttoxeter, and he was game here. Now, he's beaten a horse of Nicky Henderson's called Excello, who's rated much, much higher over fences, but he probably isn't as good over hurdles. But this was the same day Lucky Place won the Ascot Hurdle, and this was a trip, this was over a little bit further. But I thought the time in the sectionals, given that was a grade 2, stood up very well there, and he carried more weight than the Henderson horse. Just needed to get his jumping together at Uttoxeter. He had a habit of landing on all fours, but he did jump better at Ascot overall. The only 2 mistakes he made were at the 2 downhill hurdles, which can happen to any young horse. But at Cheltenham, on the new course, I should say, there's only 2 flights, I think, in the last 7 furlongs, so that will probably help him, and that will probably play against Skyjack Hijack, who is a wonderful, wonderful jumper. So hoping Skyjack Hijack feels a little bit wrecked like me after the Christmas party last weekend, and Western Knight can pick up the pieces for the Tizzards.
That was good knowledge. That was for the remaining hurdles then as well, and the fact that probably won't suit the favourite, but will suit your horse. So, he's got me a little bit there, Sam.
I've got her. We've got her.
You in agreement with him then?
Do you know what? I am. Rixie and me singing from the same hymn sheet, and I might be a little bit impolite about the favourite here. I do think it's a wonderful story, but this will be the favourite's 10th run since June. If you look through the profile of the horse, it's run and it's a brilliant story. Don't get me wrong, but 2 to 1, absolutely do not want to touch that price. I'm happy to find something to try and take on a wonderful story with, and maybe it's a bit head over heart, which is a real shame because I would love to see Connections rewarded. But Western Knight was the one that I picked out deck as well, and you mentioned the Ascot run, obviously giving weight to that Nicky Henderson horse that, yes, perhaps has a slightly inflated rating over hurdles, but I actually went back to the Uttoxeter effort on hurdle debut, and the second here is a Jamie Snowden horse that's gone and followed up. It's gone and followed up. It's gone and followed up by winning at Plumpton next time out. So, like I say, I think there's some substance to the form, not just of the Ascot run, but also this effort as well at Uttoxeter. Tizzards have had a bit of a purple patch, haven't they, Deck? And I think that they've definitely seemed to have a nice group of horses this year. Be interested to see what they go on to achieve. Let's be honest. Take the favourite away, which is the story of the race. The depth here is minimal, I think it's fair to say, and a shade disappointing. Second favourite as well, could be anything, but after just that 1 run over hurdles, I kind of wanted to side with Western Knight. I thought 7 to 2 was a very fair price. I think the favourite will drift on the day. If you like the favourite, I think you'll get a better price. French horse could be anything. I tried to weigh up the form, and I went round in circles and realised that my French reading of form is probably lacking.
Good try all the same.
The one thing I would say, if Skyjack Hijack is on a going day with his jumping against horses who are vastly inexperienced compared to him, there could be some awful mistakes in here because he is good at the old jumping.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? And this is why I really wanted to show you this, really to focus in on it. I set the production guys a bit of a task here because I asked for a compilation of his jumping from the French Furs at Newcastle last time out. Just look at this hurdling technique. He's so intelligent. Just look how low his head carriage gets going into his flights. He's concentrating, he's measuring his strides himself, but he also goes into his flights with so much impetus that it's just easy for him. He simply tucks his legs up, his body stays the same, which means he doesn't expend any more energy than he has to. Hence why these distances, despite being a front runner and an exuberant horse, but he channels his energy into the running rather than the jumping. Hence why he, in my opinion, he's able to get these distances in the way that he does, because I don't even know that he's finished off this race all that well in the closing stages, but because of the energy he's managed to save for himself and he's managed to take out of his rivals in behind, that just means that he's got that extra bit of conserved energy for the closing stages. So I am a little bit concerned about your stat there, though, for the final flights of hurdles, but I just adore everything about this horse, as do so many people. You know, he's really caught the hearts of so many racing fans, and you know, we all hark back to the good old days. We always say Isabrak's the best 2-mile hurdler we've ever seen because of his technique. But we're seeing that, but from a horse that runs over 3 miles. I mean, he's won over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs, but he's got that same technique, yet he's able to stay as well. And This is as close as I've seen to that style of hurdling for many, many, many years. So, as I say, it's a grade 2, but it's iffy in terms of a grade 2. So that's why I'm hoping Skyjack Hijack, provided he's in the same form, if not better, is a question, because he was getting tired towards the end there. But if he is, I still think that he can just grind his rivals into submission.
That'd be another thing I'd be a little bit worried about. He's so generous and so honest that he's not the type to ever give himself an easy race. So, I'm sorry to rain on your parade again, Tracey. We're Team Western Night here.
Completely. For a pair of you can't rain on his parade. He's such a bonny horse. I absolutely adore Skyjack Hijack. So, hoping for the best for him. But again, do let us know who you fancy in the comment section below. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Hit the bell notification as well. All of the above. It helps us out and just goes to show that you are engaging with us as well. Right, we're going to move up to Doncaster now for the 3:15 handicap hurdle. 3-year-olds and over 2 miles and half a furlong. Of course, the Doncaster card live on Sky Sports Racing. Now, Sam, I believe you like one at a decent price in here.
I do. I did something I don't often do, Kate, and actually took the price as soon as the prices came out. Yeah,
good to know.
I managed to get a sneaky bet on Brucio, the outsider of the field. Obviously, each way terms here look pretty favourable if you like one outside of the sort of front pair in the betting. And Brucio's a really interesting horse, and there's one significant piece of form really that kind of guides me to thinking that she should be considered here, which is her win at the Dublin Racing Festival. If you go back in time to what is nearly 12 months ago now, I suppose. That race has seen so many horses come out and run particularly well or win a variety of contests, some of them over fences. I appreciate it's hard to weigh that out, but let's not forget, she was a 6th length winner that day in a very competitive race. Then got brought down next time out. There was a bit of a no-show, a fair third, and has reappeared with a run that she was entitled to need at Down Royal. I assume with something else in mind. Ben Bromley takes 5 off. Obviously, they've got a couple in here, the Suede Manure colours. Leader de Burley that actually beat Brucio if you go back through to last season. But I felt Brucio was just a really intriguing runner here. Interesting that the Manures and Suede colours, they run 2 in here. We get the nice each way play, and I thought 18 to 1 was massive. I think the favourite on a going day is a very, very nice horse off that mark. But for me, I just was trying to find a bit of an angle in, and for once actually found a price I really liked at double digits.
18 to 1, Deck, beat that.
That'll do, yeah. No, I'm afraid I can't because I'm going to the head of the market with Altobelli.
I did tee you up quite badly.
She's getting her own back now after Skyjack. But yeah, I think the key horse to this race and how it's going to pan out, I think is probably Limoncello. I think that he'll go forward and quite a forward goer, puts pace into race, and that would be just a little bit of a worry sometimes for Altobelli, just with his jumping. He's such a big raw horse, you know, sometimes he can make a mess of his hurdles. And the other thing I'm just a little bit worried about as well is all his best form is right-handed at the likes of Ascot and whatnot and Carlisle. Now, he did win left-handed at Foss Lass earlier in his career, so I'm hoping he will be okay. And, you know, I just look at his form from last season and some of those really top 2-mile hurling divisions. You know, he's not going to face the likes of a Lucia here in Imposé Trois, and even his earlier form behind Knickerbocker Glory. And you see him here this day under Johnny Burke. He's just wanting to lug a little bit to his right, and you can see how big he is and how much of a galloping horse he is. I just hope the ground at Donny doesn't get too quick for him, because I just think a little bit of juice just helps him to let himself down. But look, I think a reproduction of this form puts him bang in the mix here. Rex Dingle is going to take over from Johnny Burke. I like Rex. I think he's a really good rider, and just if he can get him into a nice rhythm, get him jumping well, I think he will take an awful lot of beating if he's ready to go first time out. But he did run well fresh at Ascot last time out, and he was due to run at Sandown last week. But I think the Harry Fry team had terrible issues with the weather and getting horses to Sandown, so he didn't run. So if he's fitting well, you look at his form, he's a fair bet. Although BetVictor clearly fancy him strongly, because I think they're lowest price out of all the bookies. We might get a little bit bigger.
5 to 2.
Cheers, Rixie.
Oh, come on, I'm trying to get the people some value here.
Yeah? Very intelligent traders.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Chris was on with us last week. Wasn't this Chris's nap last week for the race?
It might have been. There you go.
I think I don't know, was it his nap? It might have been his fancy. So I'm just basically stealing his work.
Yeah, I was clearly paying a lot of attention as well. Memory has failed me completely from Chris's selections last week. But yeah, I say the Harry Fry stable, they had the weather alert, didn't they, from where they're based in the West Country. So decided, rightly so, not to travel anything. So Altobelli should be fit to go, because he's a week overdue now for when he was meant to run as well. And hopefully, in some part, that might have just taken a little bit of freshness off of him, because he is a big, keen horse, as you say. Yet, you also say about his record fresh, and it reads very well. Now, this isn't necessarily reappearances, but when he's had a decent amount of time off, first, ninth, second. That ninth was in a Grade 1 at Aintree. So his record fresh, for all that he is a keen, gassy type of horse, he actually goes really well fresh, which is also why I am with him as well, which I'm not really a big fan of this race, but you have to centre this contest around Altobelli. And 5-2, you're basically just taking the price about chancing that he is going to do himself justice. And at 5-2, I think that that's actually a very fair price, considering the doubts I have about a whole load of these. But a mark of 130 really shouldn't be beyond him by any means. And yeah, just hoping for a better showing than last time out. Hopefully he's matured enough as well, because last season he just wasn't. He was still immature. He was still fighting his jockey. You know, he's still doing so much wrong. And he was lightly raced last season. And the fact that, as you say, he had that form when he was served behind Lucia and Impostoir, despite still being keen, off a steady pace, to only be beaten 1.5 lengths, I thought, OK, this is a right horse going forward.
It'll be interesting to see how Rex rides him, because Johnny Burke, when he was riding him a lot last season, he always had really wide trips, and you wonder, is he a bit claustrophobic or he just wanted the room for his jumping? So the other thing is, if he does kind of maybe jump a little bit right like he has in the past, sometimes at Donny they do come up to the standside rail, so hopefully it won't count against him too much.
Yeah, again,
so having beaten lumps out of it, each other in the last race, it sounds like we're together here.
I know, we actually are now, yeah, with the 5-2 favourite. Good luck us then for this one. But yeah, like, I just hope the fact that he's had all the time off since the Betfair Hurdle, where he was disappointing, he was 5-1 for that, finished 14th. But the fact he's had that time off, I don't imagine he was right for that anyway.
I think I backed him that day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and the fact that he was given all the time off, hopefully that just means he wasn't right and he should be much better this time round. So Altobelli for the pair of us. Sam, you're with a big price.
Brucio for me. I prefer it when you two are at each other's throats. It's no fun when you agree.
Tell you what, you'd be paying for the wedding if El Brucio goes
I know, wouldn't he? Just exactly. Maybe trying to recoup some of that, to say the least. Right, again, do let us know who you fancy for that Doncaster contest in the comment section below, as we move over to the sofa for our best bets of the weekend. Right, as ever, the all-important part, our best bets for the weekend. And again, the BetVictor traders have been boosting our naps ahead of this week, so make sure to head to the website or use the QR code in Vision to take advantage of the boost. Deck, who are we boosting for you?
We are going to be boosting good old Master Chewy for me, please. I know it's not wise to back a horse next time out off a fall.
And to nap them as well.
But he did fall in the Arca last year and he bounced back superbly well at Aintree. So I'm hoping that will count for plenty. And it's just a really winnable race, and he is the undoubted class act. So come on, Sammy Twist Davis, pop him round there, son, and get us a nap, winning nap for the weekend. The next best then is going to be Peaky Boy, also at Cheltenham, trained by Nicky Henderson, going to be ridden by Nico de Bonneville. I loved what this guy did on his last start at Cheltenham. His jumping was decent. I think he can improve, but I don't know, was he lazy or behind the bridle or a little bit raw and rusty, but he just looked like a horse who was crying out to go up and trip, and if he stays this trip, I think he could have the gears to easily put this lot away. I think he's rated 139. I thought the handicapper could have gone higher. He was that good, really likeable, really tough, and he bounded up that hill, so he will be the next best. And then the long shot is also going to come at Cheltenham. It's going to be the last race. Hopefully we won't need this as a getting out stakes, but Royal Margot made a lovely debut at Cheltenham at the start of the season. I think the switch from the old course to the new course will be massively in her favour. Now, she is a tiny mare, and she ran a cracker over 3 miles last time out at Ascot, carrying 12 stone. I think she's only going to carry about 10, 11 now on Saturday, and that is a big plus for her. She's a good order. She's won over fences. I have no idea how she's won over fences, because she is small. She will do for me for the Tom Simmons team as this week's a long shot.
Nice. And just for an anti-post angle, for what it's worth, that your next best bet, Peaky Boy, is currently 33-1 for the Broadway as a potential anti-post.
Yeah, I can easily see him getting to the 150 mark, you know, whether or not now there's an Irish horse or two there that'll be a little bit better than him, but yeah, or 5. But at the same time, Nicky Henderson, he knows how to train Cheltenham Festival winners, and I do like this lad. If he stays the trip, I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see, isn't he? And might well be flying the British flag then come March. Sam, who are we boosting for you though for your nap?
I want a bit of justice, Kate. Obviously, last week we were robbed of the Beecher, and if people remember that, my anti-post boost when we were doing those for this time of year was going to be Gabriel.
And I backed you up, by the way. I sided with him, and I did give homage to you that you would have been with him last week.
Well, thank you, Kate. I should really watch the show, shouldn't I, when I'm not on it, to make sure you're saying nice things like that about me.
Sorry, missus, just need to watch the show this week.
But the good news is we get the chance for a bit of redemption at Doncaster in the 205. It's a competitive handicap for sure, but I feel going back up in trip to the 3 miles will suit. A previous course and distance winner at Donny as well, and looks really versatile on the ground. I think the time that the team put him back over in the Hunter Chase sphere really seemed to help this horse, who definitely seems versatile at the trip as well. I'd be interested to see what they end up doing. Obviously, it's a real shame for them that the Beecher didn't, by the sounds of it, get rescheduled. So they choose to come here. Appreciate it might be sort of afterthought thinking, but the horse is clearly fitting well. And actually, the trainers have got a load of horses out this weekend. It's a massive, massive weekend for them. Hopefully, Gabriel can do the business at 5-1. Thinks off a competitive mark. Declan and me both agree that Western Knight's a great bet in that 3 o'clock to beat the fairy tale horse, if you like, there. And I think the Tizzards have got a really, really nice prospect on their hands here. Dual winner over hurdles so far. 7-2 looked a very, very fair price. And we've also discussed Brucio, my long shot. I think this is a cracking each way bet as long as we get enough in there to get those 3 places. She's a really intriguing runner. I know she's got to bounce back a little bit, but I do just go back to that form at the DRF and think she has got potentially the opportunity to be better than this mark, I think, and Ben Bromley takes a handy 5 off.
An 18-1 long shot. This has teed me up an absolute treat. Then for my own best bets, hasn't it? I shouldn't have let Sam go just before me on this sense. But my nap, though, to start with, I'm going to the same mare's handicap hurdle, though. It comes up at 3:35 at Cheltenham. Now, Georgie Girl is the one for me in here, where I know that Joyeuse is a hot favourite, and she may well be good enough to win this on her handicap debut, but she is priced up accordingly. I prefer the chances about Georgie Girl at 13-2 in here, who was a winner of her reappearance last time out. Really good ride on that occasion as well. It came at Warwick. Really patient ride, though, which you don't tend to see those horses coming to the fore at Warwick, and she was able to do so, and then some, picking up the whole field, the eventual runner-up in really good style, winning off a mark of 1-2-4 after rising £16 in the course of a year. Yeah, it's difficult to tell how much improvement there is still to come from her, but by the looks of that win last time out, there should still be plenty more, and she's run better than the Bear result on her only try at Cheltenham so far. So 13-2 for my nap, which is going to be boosted. My next best bet is Garlaw then at 6-1 in the December Gold Cup handicap chase. For all of the reasons mentioned before, ticks the most trend boxes for the race following his great run to finish second in the Paddy Power last time out. Hopefully he can reverse the form with Il Ridotto from that up £1, but a class act in the race and such a good Cheltenham record as well. Now for the big one, Triple Trade, here he is, in the handicap chase over 2.5 miles a furlong. Yeah, long shot might be a bit of a push for the price for this lad, but I couldn't resist putting him up for a long shot because he was the outsider of the field before I stepped into the studio today anyway. And on that basis, I just think there's so many question marks about the remainder of the horses in here. He's now £5 below his last winning mark. The same winning mark as his penultimate success with that win coming at Cheltenham as well. So, yeah, not a big price.
Yeah, the only reason we're going to allow you to get off with that this week is because it was your birthday yesterday.
Oh,
yes.
Sam,
now, you need to book it up next week with a double-figure price.
I do fear trade descriptions are going to start coming for us, Kate. 13 to, listen, but at least your nap's a decent price. It'd be boosted. It's going to be a bigger price. I mean,
my nap's going to go off at a bigger price than my long
If they win, we'll let you off, Kate. There you go.
If they win, if they both win, thank you. And I appreciate the present then of your forgiveness for my birthday yesterday, that I have a 13-2 long shot. Anyway, hopefully on next week's show we will have some, well, I will have some bigger price long shots for you, but we will be back at the same time next Friday to preview more of the weekend action, including from Ascot.